Hello everyone, welcome back to the 20 Dolph channel, and this is the 2012 Volkswagen Passat B7. And what I'm going to be doing in this video is doing a complete overview of this car, so driving it, what's under the bonnet, everything else about this car you're going to see in this video. So let's get into it. Start off at the front of the Passat B7, where obviously you'll notice this very nice grille, nice lower section. This is a lower optioned car. I believe this would be a trendline, highline, something like that. So you got the halogen headlights, which have been retrofitted to LEDs, so that is very nice to see. Along the lower section you've got this nice little trim that kind of surrounds that lower section of the bumper there, as well as the grille. Now I really like the grills on the B7 Passats. I think it looks quite nice, but other than that it's a pretty standard front end, just classy, elegant Volkswagen as always. And yeah, I think that's really about it for the front end. Moving on to the side of the Passat B7, you'll notice it's angular enough, but obviously it's not as aggressive as like a Audi or something, but it's the phase where Volkswagen started moving into more direct lines, and you can see that started to come out. I also really like the door handles on the Passats. I don't know why, I just do. Also, I apologise about the cicadas. They're very, very annoying. You've got this nice little chrome trim piece down at the bottom there and surrounding the windows too. But other than that, it is a fairly standard side to a vehicle. Moving down here, you have some 17-inch wheels, which, I mean, they look okay. I have no idea what these wheels are called, but they look pretty good. They suit the car, and that's really all that matters. So moving around to the rear of the Passat B7, you'll obviously notice Volkswagen has these nice tail lights. I really do like these tail lights. They look really, really nice, and yeah, they're very underrated tail lights. I really do like them. Volkswagen logo in the center there, which does not. Oh no, it does act as a reverse camera. There you go. Passat logo there, TSI badge there, because this is a 2-litre TSI with a little chrome strip at the bottom of the boot lid there. The chrome continues around the lower sections of the bumper, which is very nice. Overall, I think the rear of this car, it's just very classic Volkswagen. There's nothing too special about it, but it does still look nice and elegant. Exhaust tips just there, and obviously I know how much you want to hear this thing start up, so I'll give it a quick start up and a little rev. So fairly standard outcome. Obviously it has a stock exhaust, so it just sounds pretty average. But let's go check out what's underneath the bonnet. So under the bonnet of the Passat B7, we have the 2-litre EA113 straight out of the Mark V GTI. So this, I think, produces about 154 kilowatts, about 280 newton meters of torque. Pretty decent engines. They are known for having timing chain complications, but I mean, as long as you get a well-serviced one which has had the timing chain, or you plan on doing the timing chain, that is obviously not a problem. Other than that, they're relatively okay engines. They do have oil consumption issues, like most Volkswagens. Water pumps, this is when they started getting a little bit shit, so expect water pump issues at some point. But yeah, overall, pretty good engines, and no real complaints under the bonnet here. So sorry, the weather is so atrocious today. It's so hot, there is not a cloud above us, and it's very open. But stepping into the interior, you're greeted with this lovely multifunction leather steering wheel, which feels very, very nice to hold. I love this generation of Volkswagen steering wheel. They really do feel amazing in the hand, and obviously it being a multifunction steering wheel, you do have all of the controls. It's all linked to the RNS 510 head unit, which came in the car, so that is all nice and good. Other things in the interior, so ahead of us we do have our analog gauge cluster with the multifunction display in the center there. Yep, there we go. The standard display. This car has 196,000 Ks on it, so pretty much the same as my Mark IV Golf that I recently sold and reviewed. Yeah, I've really, really loved this about the Passats, the fact that the key kind of has its own little slot here. I really do like that, and you push it to start. I don't know why, I just love that. Car is very, very comfortable to sit in. This armrest right here is in the perfect position for me. Like on a long distance road trip, this would be so nice. yeah, and you can get these cars in a variety of configurations. In Australia, we get very boring specs, so unfortunately the interior on this particular car isn't quite as nice as the ones you'd find overseas. I believe overseas you can get walnut trim here. You can customize it quite a lot more than you can in Australia. Just Volkswagen Australia, please bring nicer spec Volkswagens to Australia, I beg. Along here you got your window switch panel and your mirror controls, little storage cubby there, which is felt lined, which is nice. You can upgrade the sound system to the Dyne Audio sound system, which sounds awesome, although I wouldn't bother because the standard sound system in this car is really good. Moving across to the center, you've got an analog clog, nice and center there, giving a very premium feel to this whole interior. I do love that, and it's a very classy looking clock as well, very Volkswagen. I do love that. As I was mentioning before, this is the RNS 510 head unit, which did come standard in this car, and it does work pretty well. It is, you can kind of see that it is aging a little bit now. Obviously the UI is pretty dated now, but that's fine. It all works as it should. You can retrofit it with the RCD 330 and RCD 360 should you wish to have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Moving down, you got your nice little hazard button. They put it right in the center there because they know, Volkswagen know you will be needing that, so that is very good. This car does have heated seats, and your climate controls are down here as well. I've got the aircon on because it is ridiculous at 36 degrees at the moment, so very hot day today. But yeah, that's all as it is, and it works. Moving down, obviously higher spec cars will have multiple options here. I believe in higher spec models you get suspension options, ESC, everything like that, but on this particular car we've got a parking sensor button there, auto hold, and your traction control button there as well, so that is all nice and good. I really like how they've integrated the electronic park brake into this center section here as well. Very nice and clean. This car does have a DQ250. They are problematic if they're not well maintained, but as long as you stay on top of the servicing with the DSG, you shouldn't really ever have dramas with it, so just bear that in mind. Cup holder here with a nice little storage solution there. I really do like these over-engineered Volkswagen cup holders, which they kind of slot away to give you more storage, and the moment you want a cup holder, Volkswagen, you're not doing yourself any favors here. There you go. Well, that's meant to just release that, but we'll let it slide this once. These seats in this car, very comfortable, nice and supportive as well, and they're very adjustable. I believe I have power seats on the driver's side to an extent. I believe only the rear is reclinable, and then I think, yeah, it's like semi-automatic seats, which is fine. Yeah, other than that, this car is not optioned with a sunroof, which is kind of a good thing, it being a Volkswagen. But yeah, you got a couple of lights up here as well. It's good. Rear space, look, it's actually surprising. You do get a fair amount of space in the rear here, which is very good. But yeah, very excited to take this thing on a drive, so I think that's what we should do now. I love that key. Here we are in the Volkswagen Passat, and yeah, I'm gonna have to blast this aircon. I apologize, Vitaly, but I do have to blast the aircon just so my camera does not overheat, because it is prone to doing that. So let's go get this sorted. Yes.
I'm sorry to be a wanker about this, but could you like use the aircon intermittently?
Yes.
Because the compressor is about to like go out.
Yes.
Literally,
Okay. I'm sorry, Vitaly. Fanging our little U-turn here. The steering, I know everyone whinges about Volkswagen steering being a little bit too annoying, but this one's not too bad. Driving it along normally. I haven't adjusted the seat or anything. I don't really want to mess around with the seating position, but it's very comfortable to drive. It is very comfortable to drive, and I like the steering wheel a lot. I've always really liked the steering wheels in this generation of Volkswagen. And the interior noise as well, I don't know if you can hear it, but the only rattling is coming from stuff in the boot, that's it. And everyone says, oh, newer Volkswagens, they rattle like crazy, but this is from 2012. It's a newer generation Volkswagen. There's no rattles at all. It's done almost 200,000 Ks. So, Volkswagen haters, please explain that to me. If there was one car in the world I would have to keep as do everything car, it would definitely be a Passat CC, one of the facelifted ones. Reason being, you get the VR6 and you get the comfort, and this is so like, if it's we'll put the window down as we come out to a little straight. I'm not gonna abuse the hell out of Vitaly's car, but it being a GTI engine, it really does pick up. It's definitely got a lot of grunt. And also the fact it's a GTI engine means it's extraordinarily tunable. Very, very tunable. Yeah, obviously this car has the stock exhaust, so you can't really hear the EA113 under the bonnet here, but that is okay. That is okay. You can feel it. So, I don't know, everything in this car just feels nice. It feels like a Golf, but kind of like elevated, if you get what I mean. Here's our second little straight. The gearbox in this car is really snappy as well, which is good. But yeah, wow, it picks up. It really does pick up, and yeah, I know no one really is fast. I know Passats and Jettas, especially over in the US, they have a very bad reputation. I don't know why everyone hates them. You do have to look after them. I think that's what a lot of people don't like. You really do have to look after them, like any Volkswagen, like pretty much any other German car. In fact, you do really have to look after them, because if you don't, you've got a problem. You've got a big problem. That's when the stuff starts to go wrong with them. But yeah, I mean, this car is so comfortable. It just glides over the bumps in the road. The steering's nice and direct. It's a little bit on the lighter side, obviously. It's not a performance car, so it is definitely on the lighter end. But that's what you want out of something that is aiming to be kind of like a budget entry-level luxury car. And I feel like that's what the Passat is. It's definitely good at it as well. Like, this car is so pleasant to drive. It's just peaceful in here, and I don't know, like, obviously I do love my Volkswagens. I do have a very strong bias towards liking pretty much any Volkswagen they've ever come out with, but just generally looking at it from just a car perspective, it just drives so nicely. It's just peaceful in here. The suspension's really nicely set up from factory, so it's very soft, but it's also got an amount of stability, and it does reassure you that you do still have control behind the wheel. And that's what Volkswagen really always gets so right. The handling of any Volkswagen is just so much better than the competition, in my opinion. And now we're being held up by a Tesla driver who wants to go 40 k's an hour. But I mean, we're just in drive now, giving it obviously just a small acceleration here. It's just smooth. It's so smooth, and I really like that about it. Like, it's a very, very smooth car to drive. And look, I would honestly go out and say that this is better than a BMW 3 Series from the same era. Maybe not in terms of driving dynamics or anything. This is a front-wheel drive car, so you are obviously limited by physics in that department, but it just feels pleasant to drive, and I can't stop saying it because it's just nice. It's nice, and you can pick these up pretty cheap on the used market now as well. They have stopped selling the Passat in Australia, which is unfortunate, and it's because none of you bloody bought it. Why wouldn't you want to buy this? Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed? Okay, so the camera cut out. Typical average day in the life of a review. But what are my final thoughts on the Passat, and should you buy one? Well, my final thoughts are, if you're after a nice little car to get you around from point A to point B, you're into the long distance road trips, you know, you do a lot of driving and you want to be comfortable, this is the car for you, because it's got a good sound system, the car drives beautifully, it handles lovely. Like, it's a perfect blend between comfortable yet sporty at the same time. It's sporty when you want it to be sporty, but it's comfortable all the rest of the time. So I really like it. I really do like it. Yeah, even from an unbiased point of view, I would so recommend one of these cars. Yeah, just as long as you get a well-serviced one, a well-looked after one, avoid at all costs any that have been abused. It's just not worth the time. But if you get a good one, and as long as you keep up with the maintenance, it will serve you very well. I will assure you of that. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much for watching the video, and I will catch you in the next one.